I hope. Hey, Bahamut is there.
Hey!
I'm not.
No.
I wish I could turn my camera on. I'm gonna have to finagle something here because I can't turn my camera on in Zoom, which makes very interesting situation.
We don't need to see you. They got me. That's all that matters. I'm clearly the face of this operation here.
You're the beard of the operation.
I am.
Yeah.
We could just have a picture of my dog at the second one. That'd be good.
Dog. That's it. Okay, maybe this'll... There we go.
Hey! Did you do the thing?
I did a thing.
You did.
Except I'm all the way in front. Let's not have that. There we go. People can see my forehead there.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. All right.
Sexy forehead action.
So, before we actually get started... Hey, there I am. Before we actually get started, you held something up to the camera there. I want you to do it again.
Okay, do you want me to do it again, or do you want me to wait until we get to the thing?
Do it again.
It is relevant for the thing.
Oh, it's okay. Well, let's not do the thing.
I think it is a timing-based thing because the thing is relevant to the thing I'm talking about.
With the thing and the thing.
So we don't need to be thinging the things right now. Let's thing the things later.
Can I thing it in the thing?
You could, but it might hurt. You're gonna have to see a doctor afterwards to get that removed. Yeah.
Always thinking about me, DJB.
I'm selfless. That's what I am. DJ Selfless B is what they call me.
Alrighty, thank you for joining us here. This is On the Line, episode number 3. So glad to have you here. Oh boy, we got a lot to talk about. We missed last week. We have some stuff to cover. We're going to talk about a recipe today, as we always do. We're going to talk about what we've been doing, what we've been playing. And we're going to talk about, for our main subject tonight, kitchen etiquette. Kitchen etiquette, which is something that people don't realize is so important to not getting yourself killed.
Integral, some would say. Integral,
vital,
even.
So, I don't know if you guys knew about this or not, but people who work in kitchens are usually moody pieces of shit.
Yeah. It's very rarely, it's not one or the other either, it's both.
Accurate. Acura. Let's not bring up cars.
No, for fuck's sake, let's not do that.
Let's avoid that area of life entirely. I reached the wrong direction, and now my hands are on your face. Let's not. We're gonna go. Let's not go that direction.
It smells like fish sticks. I like it. Just leave it there.
So, Bahamut, what have you been playing? What have you been enjoying this week?
God's honest truth, I've had company for the past week and a half, and I haven't been able to play much. But last night, I did download Yakuza 4, which was one of the free games for PlayStation Plus on the PS3. And I got not too far into it. I got about maybe 20 minutes or so. It is just all kinds of Shenmue, and that makes me happy in my tingly bits. So I am all about some Yakuza 4 right now. Now, if I keep playing and it winds up sucking, then whatever. But I still really want to play Shenmue now. That game is so good, and it's so bad, but it's also so good.
It's bad, but it's good.
It's not a great game by today's standards, but at the time, that shit was breaking down barriers. And I love, you know me, I'm a Dreamcast fan.
For better or worse.
For better or worse. I'm not a fair weather Dreamcast fan, man. I was on board that shit from day one. And playing this game, you play, obviously, somebody who is involved with Yakuza, which, if anyone, for some reason, doesn't know what that is, that's Japanese Mafia. And you start out as, your character is like a loan shark, basically. And you're running around, you're kicking ass, you're learning moves, it's in Japanese natively, which is awesome to me, because I think games that have, native language off the bat is perfect. If I play a game where if it's set in a country that does not speak English, I don't want to hear English with the accent of that country. I want to hear the language, So I like that. I'm big on linguistics, but so from what little I played, I think it's going to be pretty cool. That's my thing.
There we go.
Oh, I do have one more.
Uh-oh.
I totally forgot about this. I don't know how, because I love this game. Castle in the Darkness. Oh my god. It's so good.
I saw Iron Chef Bobby Flail playing this.
A couple of people have. I was watching GQ a couple of mornings ago. He got into it. It's Castlevania, Metroid, NES style, super hard platformer, great chiptune music, graphics are great. It's made by, I don't know if I remember saying this right, Nicalis, it's whatever, Nicalis. It's the company that did the remake of The Binding of Isaac and Cave Story.
Yeah, the lead artist from Rebirth is the lead for the project.
He did that one. It's something he's been working on for a few years now, and he finally released it. It's great. It's hard. It's fun. It's got a lot of great references to other games. It's got an excellent chiptune soundtrack, and you're gonna die a lot, and you don't mind.
It's nostalgia bomb-tastic.
Absolutely, that's the one word, nostalgia bomb-tastic. So it's like, I think it might still be on sale. It was like $4.97 on Steam. You get your money's worth instantly.
I gotta push Rob to try and get it because it looks like something that's right in his wheelhouse.
Yeah, totally. Rob would love it.
Alrighty, I shoved my head into Mass Effect 3 again, better or worse. I love it. It's fun.
It's so good.
Actually, with the new season of Diablo 3 starting up, I'm thinking about doing that or maybe some Diablo 2.
Ooh.
I mean, Diablo 2, I was talking about this earlier today on stream. Diablo 2 is probably one of my top 10 games.
It's a great game.
It's a classic.
Mm-hmm.
It really is so much fun.
Oh, yeah. I came into it late, like into the Diablo thing. It had already been out for years when I got to it. But, man, when I did, I played the shit out of that game.
Diablo 2 was amazing.
Plus, I have a pretty good Deckard Cain voice. Stay a while and listen.
No comment.
It's not good, but I still like doing it.
6 out of 10. Pretty good. Pretty good. We're going pretty good. Beyond that, I'm preparing myself emotionally and mentally for Homeworld Remastered at the end of the month.
Yeah.
And it's just like, I can feel it on the way. I can feel it moving towards us.
Yep.
And I want it to happen.
Yeah, that trailer I saw at the PAX South panel was amazing. It was amazeballs.
I loved that game so much as a kid.
I never played it. I didn't even
Really?
know it was a thing. I didn't do a lot of PC gaming growing up. Because,
Okay, that makes sense.
We didn't have our first computer until it was loaded with Windows 2001. So we were fucking poor white trash. We didn't have shit. Windows 95 just skipped right on past that.
I'm going to not make a joke about Texas.
You shouldn't have to. That doesn't count. My grandpa had a computer in like 1996. It was just us. We were poor. Everyone else in my family was fine. But I had to go to my grandparents' house to play Warcraft 2. But yeah. I know.
Oh, man. The first... Oh, my God. No, I'm not even going to, because that's just... I'll be telling stories for hours at that rate if we're going to talk about that stuff.
Nobody wants to hear you ramble, Dan. God.
Nobody cares, Grandpa.
Nobody likes you. Ooh.
People... Oh, my God. I was in Cosby's channel earlier today, and at least 2 to 3 people over there were making age jokes at me.
Really?
Yeah.
How does it feel to be really, really old now?
Apparently they think I turned 60.
You did.
I did?
You are 60 years old. Congratulations.
Shit, the senility is already setting in.
It is. You're not even on a show right now. You're actually just sitting in a rocking chair. Just like in a home somewhere, knitting something, playing
I don't know how
canasta.
to knit.
You don't think you know how to knit. This isn't happening.
My brain already hurts. Alrighty.
I did a happy belated birthday, by the way.
Thank you. It was good to have everyone here for it. That was last weekend, and that was crazy. Shut up, Cosby!
Cosby.
Look at Cosby being a smug son of a bitch out
Cosby
there.
on point with the jokes, crafting bits. I like it.
Anywho, we best get started. We best get to our... We've just gotten through our prep work, actually. So let's get right to it. Let's get on the line. You have a recipe for us today.
I do.
BJB.
I have one of my favorites of all time.
What do we got? What do we have?
Ladies and gentlemen, we are going to make pineapple chicken fajita burritos. Actually, you can make whatever the hell you want out of this as long as it's Tex-Mex oriented. I've made tacos, I've made quesadillas, I've made burritos. It's very versatile. The most unique thing about this recipe, and I will post the link immediately, which you will see at some point because the delay. Cooking Comically is one of the best websites out there. He doesn't really upkeep it anymore because he's got a book out, and it's a good book too. But it's a really humorous webcomic that teaches you how to cook the foods. And one of the best things about this particular recipe is that he goes through multiple lessons in one recipe. Like, it begins with how to make a jury-rigged tortilla steamer, which like the first couple of panels is just him like giving you shit for steaming tortillas in the microwave. Which, whatever, you know, it doesn't.
As long as it works, right?
Exactly. Who cares?
If it works, that's what matters.
Exactly. Do your tortillas however the hell you want. But anyway, the greatest thing about this recipe is like the smell you get as you're cooking the meat. Oh man, it's so beautiful. It is one of the best smells. And I love cumin. I'm a big cumin fan. I'm a Texan. Grew up, working at Tex-Mex places. All that good stuff. So you get used to it, and I love it. But for those who want to follow along, basically what it is a bell pepper, an onion, like portions are usually about half of each. I use sweet onions. They tend to be a little bigger than like white onions, so you don't need quite as much. You want like 3 chicken breasts, I think is what he calls for. Honestly, I'm not the best person to like give out recipes because I just freehand everything. I don't measure things anymore.
Most cooks do, though.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I like the way I do things. I like have it all memorized.
Yeah.
It's weird, but anyway, you're gonna want pineapple, a can of pineapple juice, or a can of like pineapple product of some kind. There's usually like a small, medium, large. You want like a medium-sized one because you're going to use the entirety of the juice in that to marinate your chicken. So let's see. Going by order of the things, you can see the aggregate groceries panel shows you everything you need. You're going to need rice because he uses rice as kind of a filler. You don't need to season it or make it Mexican rice, although if you would like to, that's a good idea because Mexican rice is delicious and not that hard to make. Gonna want some cheese, of course, because Mexican food. Some salsa, big O tortillas. If you want to do tacos, what I like to do is make double deckers. I get soft and hard taco shells, and what I do is I lay out the soft tortilla flour, melt a little cheese on top, and if you have a flat top range, which I do like the little plug-in ones, those are brilliant for this. If not, you can just like put it on top of a pan, on a fryer or on the oven, or microwave it, and melt the cheese down, and then I put a hard shell taco on top of that, and I just kind of fold it over and make a double decker. Woo! Lord have mercy, is good. Anywho, you're gonna want to ensure that your spices are on point because the spice game is legit. Now that is where the thing comes in, Dan. The thing is, I make this recipe so much. I actually what you call batched the seasoning, which means to make a large amount ahead of time, so you know what to use. I wouldn't necessarily recommend doing this unless you make it a lot and you know how much you need, because the recipe does call for a specific amount of each seasoning. However, I made a custom label for this specific recipe, and let me pull up my cam here so I can make sure I got it coming out right. But yeah, there we go. Dope ass taco seasoning.
Fuck yeah!
Fuck yeah! So yeah, it's great. This is, oh man, you can see I have used it. This is a Frank's hot sauce bottle that I have repurposed. I love doing shit like that. I never.
That's a tiny ass bottle of Frank's, by the way, just for the record.
Oh, I have a big one. I got a big one, Dan. You want to get the big one?
It's a family channel. It's a family show.
No, this is family needs to leave us alone. Anyway, that is something I do because I that seasoning mix is brilliant. It's so delicious. Right below the ingredients panel on this specific comic recipe, as you can see, it lines up and shows you everything you're gonna need. This it's kind of harder to see it because he makes his JPEGs really small, so sometimes it's kind of hard to make it out. Like I like to cook on like I'll use my phone for the recipe. I won't like print it out. But anyway, you're gonna want cumin, regular salt, pepper, paprika. You're gonna want garlic powder, onion powder, cayenne or red pepper, and then you're gonna use flour. Is basically kind of like a filler, kind of like a thickening seasoning agent, and sugar. So those are your recipes. Those are your seasonings. You're gonna want to take two pretty hefty chicken breasts. It depends on how many you're feeding. Usually, if I make this, I've got like a guest over, so I'll do 3 or 4. But 2 big ones are plenty. You're gonna want to dice it up to. The picture shows really, really big chunks. Like he's real big on like fat chunks of chicken. I like it to be smaller. I think it's a little easier for like filling of the burritos and tacos.
Sure,
Totally
yeah.
up to you. You can basically make the chicken any way you want. You can strip it. It's fine. It makes really no difference because once you've chopped it to the preferred size, you're going to soak it in the pineapple juice. You don't need the fruit. You can throw a couple of pieces of the fruit in there. It's fine. But for the most part, you're going to want every drop of that juice because it's just you're going to want to, at least for the most part, have the top of the chicken covered. You can just throw it in the fridge like half an hour.
The chicken's just going to suck up all of that deliciousness, just all into it.
Citrusy, delicious. It's not going to mess up the cooking of the chicken. And like I know acids can do that, but citrus is in this age is totally fine. If you have a small plastic container with a lid, that's good because you're gonna be shaking some things. You're gonna be shaking a thing or two.
I love how Cooking Comically puts the shaking too.
Oh yeah, just that deadpan stare. Just you'll notice that in between the chicken and the seasoning thing, it says "Start your rice." Which is true. Good rice, and I make rice in a pan. I don't have a rice maker, which I would love to have one. Just a pan with a lid, standard, rice preparation. Usually takes about 15 minutes. If you have instant rice or rice that's like 5-minute rice, cool, do that. It's fine. It's honestly not
really. That's okay for this.
It is because it's just filler. It's not the primary source of the flavor. It's kind of just a bulking up agent. What it's going to do is absorb all the seasoning and the juices because the juice in this chicken, which we will see later, is actually a kind of a base for the sauce. What you're going to do is when you're ready to cook the chicken, you're going to saute it with all of the juice in there, get it like 3/4 of the way cooked, and then you're going to take out about 1/3 of a cup from the juice itself, and then everything else in there is going to merge with those seasonings and just make the most delicious, sweet and savory, spicy sauce. It is heavenly. Oh my gosh.
Just looking at the picture of this.
Have mercy. Telling you. I made this. My girlfriend's mom was down from Boston. And not only was she from living in Boston now, but she's Canadian. So we got all kinds of Northerners going on in here. And I was blowing minds with this recipe.
I'm going to overt your camera here for just a moment to show what this chicken and veggie mix will look like.
Absolutely.
So here we go. Here's this. Just look at this. It goes from wonderful chopped veggies, sliced up veggies, to, okay, we're starting to mix them in together. Then we have and look at that beautiful color.
Ooh-wee.
And look at that sauciness going on there at the end.
That last one.
Oh my.
Yes, absolutely.
Whew!
Telling you. But anywho, you're gonna start your rice. Make sure that's ready to go for when you're ready to begin the the main thing. All right. So spices to container. You're gonna want and I don't see very well these days. I'm a little old man. I'm gonna have to lean in here a little bit. So you want a teaspoon of cumin, a teaspoon of salt, a teaspoon of flour, half a teaspoon of pepper, Fresh ground is always good. I prefer fresh ground, but it's not a big deal. You're going to want half a teaspoon of, which one is that? That's the onion powder. You're going to want 3/4 of a teaspoon of cayenne. If you like a little spicy, throw it in there. Throw a teaspoon and a half, whatever. You like a little bite? I think it's great the way it is. Some people like spicy food. You're going to want a teaspoon of sugar. You're going to want a teaspoon of paprika, not smoked, just regular. And then 1/4 of a teaspoon, 1/4 of garlic powder. And all you got to do is just dump that in the container, cover it with something, and then shake it.
Get it fully mixed.
Shake it like a Polaroid picture. That's exactly what you do. After that, you're going to want to begin your knife work. Half an onion, half a bell pepper. Since I usually wind up making for more than one person, what I usually do is do like half an onion and then like half of 2 different bell peppers. My grocery store has like 3 packs. It's got a red, a yellow, and an orange. And I'll usually do like the red and the orange, just half each. Because I like bell peppers. I like that a lot of bell pepper.
Sure, yeah.
Chop it to whatever your preferred size is. A good dice, tiny squares are good. Some people like strips of bell peppers. That's very like fajita-like. That's good. I kind of like to make it smaller because, especially if I'm doing tacos, smaller pieces tend to fit inside the shell a little better.
Oh yeah.
But in any case, that's totally up to you. So you're gonna want to get like a some kind of non-stick skillet, basically whatever the biggest one you have is. 12 inches is always good, and set it to medium. And whenever that's nice and warm, you're gonna want to go ahead and throw in the chicken and the juice, all of it. Just dump it right on in there, and you're gonna be doing a little saute action. Get your little spoon or your spatula, whatever you've done. This says whenever the chicken is half done to 3/4 done is good, because you want to make sure chicken is thoroughly cooked always. American chicken is terrible when it's not cooked. You'll die.
You will die.
You will die. Now, if you go to some other countries like Japan, for example, where they treat chickens properly, you can eat medium chicken. It's fine. It won't kill you because it's not loaded with chemicals and bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, right around when that's half to 3/4 done, take about 1/3 of a cup of the juice out. Just pour it or scoop it or whatever you got to do, and just dump it out. You don't want to do anything with it. It's chicken juice. It's bad. And that right there is the base for what is going to become a delicious sauce. Now this is where the picture that Dan showed comes in. As you can see, this Tyler individual, he uses bigger pieces of onions and bell pepper, which is cool. Totally up to preference. You're going to want to throw down the peppers and onions into the pan, saute, get a nice little cook action going on there, and immediately after that, just dump your seasoning right in there, and that's just the smell. Just take it all in because it's so good. The cumin is very, very powerful smell. The garlic powder, the onion powder, everything together. It's just, it's heavenly. I would love to have that as like a Glade plug-in or something. I'm fine with that. I am fine with that. Anyway.
What? A Glade fajita plug-in?
Pineapple chicken fajita Glade. I'm telling you, man. Somebody needs to call somebody to get on that. I would buy it. I would purchase that immediately. So you're going to want to saute. What he says is until the onions are translucent or until you can no longer resist that smell.
The smell is powerful?
It's strong. It's not powerful. I would not say powerful. It is fragrant. It is going to make your apartment smell like, abuelita's house.
So happiness.
Yes. Pure unmitigated happiness. It is joy in a pan. Around this time, your rice should be done. So, make sure that's not on the heat. But, keep the lid on it because it'll be nice and warm for when you're ready for it. So make sure your chicken is cooked thoroughly. Shouldn't take too long. He doesn't really say much about time. What would you say for like translucent onions? That's like 5 to 6 minutes.
At the very most.
Yeah.
I'm odd about how I cook my onions because in most things, I don't want to go past sweating them.
Right.
I simply don't. So I'd probably say 3 to 4, but honestly, if you like really soft, melt in your mouth kind of onions,
Right.
push it to 5 to 6, maybe 7 even. I think from looking at this recipe, it's definitely going to depend all on the size of the chicken.
True.
So
Very true.
If you're going for larger chicken chunks, you're probably going to want to make sure you cook it a little more thoroughly. If you cook them a little smaller, like you were describing,
Right.
don't worry too much about overcooking them. Just as soon as they get a little firmness to them, probably take them off the heat.
Yeah. Yeah. Nice. You want a little bit of like crispness to it, but you don't want, like caramelized onions. You don't want them to look brown or anything.
Exactly.
And you don't want them undercooked, obviously, because A, that's going to be undercooked chicken, which is bad. And B, raw onions have a sulfuric flavor that I don't care for in Mexican food, Tex-Mex of any kind. It has a place and a time, and this is not it.
Gotcha. Yeah.
So, I mean, I love raw onion. Don't get me wrong. I am all about some raw onion, but like, put it on a hot dog. Don't make it in my Tex-Mex. After this, it goes into making the jury-rigged tortilla steamer, which I have tried and I like. It's very simple. Honestly, it's simple, but it's also overcomplicated, I think, for this, because it's just easier to put it in a microwave. It is. You're going to have to pull out a big pan, put a little bit of water in it, put a thing over that, and then get a pan, and then do the thing, and then make the stuff. And I'm just like, no, I don't care. I don't care. Just put it in the microwave. It's whatever. It's just the fucking tortilla. Don't worry about it.
Forget about it. Forget
about it. And of course, this does come down to how exactly you want to prepare this. This recipe allows for making a burrito. Burritos aren't super easy. If you don't know how to fold a burrito, which it does show you, if you overfill a burrito, it's going to tear to pieces.
Oh, yeah.
So burrito technique, not everybody has time for that. So that's why I personally like to opt for quesadillas, because the most difficult thing about it is just turning it over once one side is crispy. Walmart, local grocery stores, a lot of different places sell these plug-in like flat top grills for like 15 to 20 bucks. It's an investment. If you don't, if that's a lot of money, I understand. It's worth it if you do a lot of cooking.
Mm-hmm.
I use that thing constantly. Make burgers, I make breakfast, all kinds of stuff. If you're going to do a quesadilla, you're going to want to cover the entire quesadilla with cheese, because cheese is awesome.
Delicious.
It's so good, and you use it for Mexican food everywhere. They just put cheese on everything because it's so good.
Yeah.
And you melt the cheese on there to where it's kind of like the sticking agent. It's going to make sure everything is nice and connected. And you want to put down, probably a couple spoonfuls of the meat and about the same amount of rice. And then once that's all nice and melted, you're just going to want to get like a spatula and kind of flip it over. And even if it a little bit spills on the side, that's fine, because you can get a spoon, you can scoop that up and pop it in your mouth because it's delicious. You want to eat it.
Little bit of that just fried cheese that falls on the flat top with a little bit of chicken, and it's got that little crustiness to it. Oh,
so good. So that's totally fine, and just a couple of minutes on each side. If you made it extra fat, which I do, I make fat ass tortillas, quesadillas rather. Get that thing, just flip it over. Don't be too crazy with it. Obviously, you don't want that shit just flying all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
And just bake it on each side. And once it's good to go, you're gonna want to get like the biggest serrated knife you can. You're gonna want to make sure it's a serrated knife, because that cuts through heavy, like thick or shelled kind of things, and just cut it into thirds. Make a little V on the middle, and you got and it's like dippable. You can get like some salsa, just dip it in there. However, if you want to follow the recipe to a T, you're gonna want to do the burrito. And he shows you how to fold a burrito. It's not super hard. You want to put less than you think you're gonna want in there, because it's gonna be hard to fold originally.
Mm-hmm.
So you're gonna want, maybe a third of the middle of the burrito, filled up. The tortilla itself, you want to just like a big dollop in the middle. Fold the sides over just to where they're about an inch apart. You're gonna want to like fold over the half that's closest to you, and kind of tuck that under there, and then just sort of slowly do this little number until it's all wrapped up underneath. And then, I mean, just like kind of squish it in on the sides there to where it doesn't just spill out all over the place. Yeah, I can see you've added it there. Um, that's the hardest part. Uh, I love the ad quote, by the way. I make fat ass quesadillas. Awesome. Make the rockin' world go around, baby.
Our mods are on the ball with those. Unfortunately, some days.
No, I love it. That's really good. The freshman's got it, man.
You want nothing less than just that.
Absolutely. It shows chips. I like to make homemade chips, and by homemade, I mean I buy corn tortillas and then cut them up and fry them myself. So it's not really homemade, but they're thicker that way, and I kind of like thicker chips. So that's what I like to do.
They need to hold a supply of condiment on top of them.
And anybody who's ever bought like tostada chips or Totitos,
those things will break.
Yeah, they're very flimsy. They're not. There's no structural integrity to these things.
A firm breeze and shit hits the fan.
So I like to make my own. Just go to whatever cheap little Walgreens or CVS or corner store, get a little 95-cent package of corn tortillas, cut them into fourths, and then throw them in a thing of oil. You'll know when they're done. They'll be floating at the top. They'll be brown. You can throw a little salt on there, make it nice and tasty. Go get your favorite salsa. I tell you, there's a couple different brands. Texas has just got all the salsas in the goddamn world.
Yeah.
So you obviously have your choice. There was a brand from Fort Worth, Texas called Miss Renfro's that made a habanero salsa that was out of this world. Oh my God, it was good. But salsa's great. Cholula, go buy a bottle of Cholula. It does great for that. Nice little vinegary kind of spice to it. But that's it though. That's the whole thing, and it'll be your staple recipe if you like Tex-Mex food. I promise you. I've been making this thing since this particular recipe came out. So for years I've been doing this, and I love it. I have never gotten tired of it. It's so good. Like I want to make it again right now.
Magical.
I'm leaving. Screw you. I'm not.
Oh, okay. Well, that's the show, guys. Sorry about that.
DJ's got to go make some goddamn quesadillas. Sorry.
I can't stop him. It just it's. Are you okay?
I'm good. No, I'm great. I'm fine.
So one thing I'm curious about is,
yes.
First off, would you possibly pair a strong queso with this by chance?
Yeah. I mean, when given the option, I am always going to say yes to queso. Mm-hmm. Texas queso is basically just Velveeta cheese and Rotel. So we don't really try for things.
Really?
That's just fine. That's what I grew up with, man. We made that stuff all the time. Throw a little, ground beef in there. There's a lot of really, really good queso recipes you can find out there. That involve like melting real cheese into cream. And I don't like canned quesos, the kind that look like salsa jars.
You can't do that.
They're processed. They don't taste good. It's just like you're eating Cheese Whiz, basically. It's terrible.
That's it.
Yeah.
So one thing, I actually got this recipe from a coworker a few weeks back. I'm never going to make it because I can't handle jalapenos.
Of course.
Simply put.
Right.
But it's this combination recipe for this really good kind of kick you in the face but really gently nacho cheese mixed with a jalapeno pico to make a quesadilla. And it's just like, what? There's so much there's so many different flavors going on there. I can't imagine it being good, but
be still my mouth.
Because I mean, there's jalapenos going on in it. There's a little extra hot sauce in it. There's these really well sliced up chunks of tomato in it, and it's like,
that sounds
I don't know, I can't do it. And then it's got a nacho cheese that is paired with to make the queso. Yeah.
I mean, I'll tell you what. When I go to any Tex-Mex restaurant, any at all, we always do queso as the appetizer. I can always judge a restaurant by two things: their queso and their fajitas. Those are two things that every Tex-Mex restaurant has to do right, or they fail. Because anybody can throw a corn tortilla with a little bit of chicken, some cheese, and a sauce on top.
Sure,
That's not that hard, but to really get good, flavorful fajita meat, and queso that has a great balance of texture because it can be too thick or it can be too watery.
Oh yeah.
And then flavor, which it can be like too salty or it can have no flavor. It's funny too because I've gone to like Tex-Mex restaurants that have just the most mediocre queso in the world. Some of the best queso I've ever had is at a place that started as a Scotch bar. So yeah. This place mostly does like it's alcohol primarily with like bar style food. So they do burgers, sandwiches, tacos. But then you get the queso with like salsa. It's goddamn mind blowing. It's delicious. It's so good. And I don't understand how the logic comes through. And it's right down the road from my apartment, so it's awesome. But yeah, I mean, you really can judge a Tex-Mex restaurant by its queso.
There you go.
But yeah, it's I would definitely opt in for queso, like queso or a time.
There is not a bad time for queso.
Never. It's
I
so
want
good.
one day I'm gonna figure out a great burger recipe that you can put queso on.
You mean just burgers? I think that's what you're talking about. You just mean burgers.
So we mean cheeseburgers with queso on them.
We need to have a discussion, you and I, about some things and some stuff.
Well,
okay?
is this something you want to talk about right now? I mean,
Well,
is this...
you're the master of schedules here. If you
No,
want,
I'm not. Not
if
nonsense.
you want to craft a nacho cheeseburger right now,
Let's do it. Let's do it
will
right the
do it.
fuck now.
Oh,
Let's
we're
do it.
on. Okay. Here's what you do.
Okay.
What you're going to do is you're going to take that seasoning that we just made for this particular recipe, and that is what you're going to do to season your beef patties. Yeah, that's what you're going to do. You're going to use less of it because it's overpowering. You're not going to use much, just maybe like a teaspoon at the most. But you're going to get your patties and you're going to form them, and then you're just going to right on top, kind of pat it in, make it nice and right there. That's where you're going to cook it. You're going to want to do the nacho cheese as the base, obviously. Tell you what, for texture, I would say, I don't know, what would you say for texture? Not nachos. I don't want to do like the chips. That's not.
I don't like it when people use chips as like a breading.
Yeah.
Like I've seen that people do that with fish before, and I think it ruins it.
Freshman has a good idea. Maybe take out the flour. Well, it won't be a big deal because the flour is just kind of it's not really quite as much if you use a small amount. It's not gonna like cake onto the burger.
Yeah, I don't think it'd be a problem, to be honest.
Yeah, it won't be but that is a perfectly valid concern. For the crunch, I would say probably the same veggies, but not quite as cooked. You want a little more texture to those.
Sure,
In
yeah.
this case, the onion and the bell pepper would be okay a little more raw. You want to cook them a little bit, but like the bite is fine.
Yeah, and you're gonna want, because these are veggies sitting on top of a hot burger patty, they're gonna cook a little more just sitting there, sitting in those juices and the cheese.
Absolutely. So there's your veggies. Maybe like throw down a little green leaf, kind of everything's got to have some green leaf.
With that?
No, not at all. Not at all. We're missing something. What are we missing? We got the cheese, we got the protein, we got a couple veggies, we got some green leaf. You know what? Actually, I'm going to redact what I said about the nachos. I'm going to do tortilla strips. Thinly sliced tortilla strips. There you go. That's what I want.
Now, are we placing the queso just on top of the burger in like a nice slather?
I was thinking like a dollop, because you don't want to put it on the bread.
No.
It's going to soggy that up real quick. So
Yes.
just like a dollop right there.
I think I can take this another step in the upwards direction. I was watching Food Network the other day in the 1 hour I have between going to work and going on stream on my weekdays.
Right.
And they were talking about this burger joint up in Wisconsin. And Wisconsin does cheese.
Oh, of course.
They fucking do cheese.
Of course.
And this burger joint, actually, they make the patties with this big chunk of cheddar in it.
Oh.
So it melts down. It
completely
melts.
confused.
It melts into the burger while it cooks, and when you bite into it, you just get that nice blast of hot cheddar cheese along with the burger meat, and it's just,
Yeah.
it's magical.
Oh yeah.
It's magical. So, is there a way we could actually take that nacho cheese and keep it inside the burger as well, or the queso, and have it cook along with the burger?
Um, the problem with doing something like that is that queso in itself is pretty much only in one form.
Exactly, it's a liquid.
It is a liquid. Now,
Yeah.
what you could do potentially is an injection action.
Yep.
You could get like one of those filler syringes like you make with turkeys and stuff, and you can just right up in that patty. That
Yeah.
would be okay. Personally, I think having it as the condiment is just fine. It's
Mhm.
worth an experiment. It really is.
Like put the nacho strips. Put those on first on top of the burger patty once it's cooked, and then put the nacho cheese on top of that, so it all kind of melts together and the
Yeah, I
The
mean,
chips
as long
hold
as
it
those
in.
two things are touching, however, that's
Yeah.
fine. That's what you want because you're getting like a nacho cheese kind of situation, like you're eating some nachos, but then you get that delicious savory burger. And I'm gonna go make this as soon as I go to the grocery store because this sounds amazing. I'm hungry. look at Freshman just freaking the fuck out. By the way, motherfucking queso burgers. Queso time. Yeah, I'm all about this. This is
I'm
good.
okay with this.
Yeah. So we just made our own recipe. Fuck it.
I'm happy with that. We might have to start our own on the line recipe book.
I'm telling you.
Uh,
I've already started doing this thing at work where we get like catered lunches and we get to take home anything that like is left over. So I've been taking leftovers and making recipes with them. Last night's was we had like pork chops with like some kind of peas and bacon thing for a side.
sure.
And I made pork fried rice with the peas and the bacon and cooked up some eggs, sliced up the pork, put a little allspice, a little star anise in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, sauteed some onions. It was good.
Oh boy.
I love doing stuff like that. I love making recipes just like bam on the spot, you know?
Yeah.
Improv recipe making.
Sometimes that's the most fun you could ever have.
It's so much fun. I love it. I always love it.
And never be afraid to experiment. This isn't like baking where it's an exact science.
Right. As long as you know you love the ingredients you're putting into a thing and you're like
It
adding
might taste good. Why not?
Right, exactly. And what if you for seasoning though, always start light because you can always add more, but it's a lot harder to subtract. So
Yeah.
So be sparing with your seasonings at first, especially salt, because salt will overpower things.
Almost
But,
anything.
Yeah,
Ugh.
trust me, a dish that's too salty is the saddest thing in the world. It sucks so much.
Yeah. Salt, in my opinion, salt and garlic are the two things you kind of have to be careful with. Just take them step by step.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Are you okay over there?
I'm
Okay.
good, man. I am getting all kinds of text messages about my car, and it's making
Oh
me
no,
sad,
let's
but it
not.
doesn't matter.
Let's not.
Because I am making food with people I like, and this is great. So I ain't even worried about it.
Booyah.
But yeah, I'm gonna remember that recipe. I want to make some nacho cheeseburgers, bro. That's a thing.
I think that's brilliant. We just got a tweet in. Thank you, freshman, for that tweet.
What did
I'm
he
not
tweet?
even. He just tweeted a couple things that are going on in chat right now.
Okay.
Thank you for that, freshman. Ginger, yeah, you have to be careful with ginger. I don't cook too much
Ooh,
with
yeah.
ginger.
I don't
Oh.
either. It's hard to keep. So
Yeah.
I don't carry a lot of ginger. I don't cook enough Asian food that I like ginger in to actually warrant having just a big freaking thumb of ginger sticking around every once in a while. And I don't like dry ginger. I never have. Making
Rob
cookies,
actually-
maybe. Mm.
Rob has a question for us in chat, and actually, I'm starting to think about this too. Every time he tries to make a burger that is stuffed with cheese, he usually uses blue cheese, which is a good choice for that kind of thing.
Yeah.
The inside gets too greasy and many times tends to remain relatively raw. What would we suggest?
Well, it kind of depends on how you form your patties and what all you do to the actual patty itself. Like if you add anything, a lot of people use like different ingredients to sort of like solidify the beef. Like I don't like this at all. I never have.
Mhm.
I don't like people who I don't like people. I don't like it when people use egg or breadcrumbs. I don't think that's necessary ever because if
Mhm.
you know how to make burger patties right, You don't need that.
No, it'll hold together as long as you pack it properly.
Right. I would say one of the better things to do whenever you're making a patty that's stuffed is you're going to want a thinner patty, obviously,
Yes.
because what I would suggest is 2 patties, basically. 2 really thin patties, because those are going to cook just fine. Don't use cheese right out of the fridge. Room temperature cheese is better because it's going to melt faster and you won't have to worry about it. When you have a thin patty, it'll cook faster. If you have warm cheese, it'll melt faster, so you don't have to worry so much about timing. I don't know, and it also depends on the fat content of the beef you're using. If
That's
you're
true.
using a cheaper beef, it's going to have a higher fat content, so maybe I would suggest a leaner beef. Fork out a couple of extra bucks for like the sirloin, or one of the nicer cuts of the steak that's made into the beef, and you won't have, like, 90-10, you won't have to worry about it.
True.
It won't produce nearly as much grease. That would be my suggestion in that situation.
For me, I think you have to accept a certain level of extra liquid and extra greasiness, because you're cooking cheese, especially something that it's going to let out some liquid, like blue cheese, into the beef, which is already a fatty kind of a substance.
Right.
So to a certain extent, it is going to be a greasier burger. It simply is. But definitely, I would agree with Bahamut that make sure the 2 patties you're packing together are very slim. Make sure, the outside edge isn't going to overcook by the time the core is done, is just barely getting cooked. Make sure you're not balling up your cheese either.
Oh, yeah.
I tried to do this a couple times where I just put this cylinder of cheese inside a burger.
Cheese ball.
And it doesn't function. Spread it out really thin. Make sure you're spreading it out evenly, but make sure it's really thin so that you can throw the burger down and still have, an equal amount of space and mass to work with.
I'm looking at chat. The Nyappy Cat Mab says something about a microwave. You just make you want to microwave everything. There are techniques you could use in a microwave to make cheese a little more malleable. One of the techniques I learned from a restaurant I worked at is whenever cooking grilled cheese, actually, you form the grilled cheese, just make it with your regular bread, go ahead and throw your cheeses down in there, and then you wrap it in saran wrap, and then throw that in the microwave for a bit because it melts your cheese. So by the time, all you got to do is fry it up on a couple of each side, you got delicious grilled cheese.
Oh, yeah.
You could potentially do that with a microwave. I wouldn't maybe suggest cooking the beef along with it, but I mean, you can put a cheese in there for a couple of seconds to kind of make it a little more malleable. And like Dan said, it does depend on the cheese. Blue cheese and cheddar are very greasy cheeses.
Yes.
Some of them aren't quite as bad. The cheeses that tend to be a little softer won't be quite as bad. Like Gruyere would be a really good cheese.
Gruyere would be
burger.
perfect.
It would be a really, really good because it's not very, very powerful like sharp cheddar is. But it's soft, it's flavorful. White cheddars are really good for that. So that would be a really, really good a cheese to stuff a burger with. Not necessarily our nacho cheeseburger, but
no.
I tell you what, if you make a burger with Gruyere, try fruit. Try like some dried like cranberries or something on top with like maybe some like rocket, like arugula with some red onion. Woo! Yeah, that's what I'm talking about right there. A little gourmet. Get like a seeded toasted bun.
I hate to return to a previous subject, but I'm thinking about one other thing we might want to toss onto the queso burger. Maybe just because it is a strong flavor, but just a tiny little bit of chopped up cilantro. Just a tiny little bit.
Yeah.
Not much.
Absolutely.
Just a little bit.
Yeah.
Because that flavor of cilantro, I fucking love it.
Fresh cilantro is great, and the best thing about living in Texas is it is so easy to come by.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you don't have to try to find cilantro. They have it in pounds and pounds and pounds. Just big bushels just chilling. Everybody in Texas, we have a very, very high Hispanic population here, and a lot of the base of Hispanic cooking is cilantro based. And
God, yes.
Yeah, a lot of like Tex-Mex restaurants, you've got to have just tons and tons of it. It's so good.
And if you guys ever doing your own salsa, by the way, chop that shit fresh. Do not get it pre-chopped. Do not get dried cilantro. You get a big, huge bunch of cilantro, you chop it right there,
Yep.
right into the salsa.
Don't even worry about stems. And I actually have a really good salsa recipe, by the way. It's,
Well, we've been talking about queso and all this stuff all night. Just hit
have.
us with it. Let's just do it.
Oh man, I'd have to go find it because well, let me see. I might have it on this computer actually. It's my recipe. It's one of the few that excuse me, I can actually claim on my own.
All right, while you're finding that, I got to thank a couple hosts here. Beaker, thank you for the host. Also, Jack, thank you for the host. I almost said Jack you for the host.
Do not jack anyone.
That's not appropriate. Jack
Inappropriate.
thank you for the host as well. Good to see you. We have some tweets as well. Freshman, a non-guy, Ventrell. Who else do we have here? Cletho, Prince Kitty Lily, Bowgrave. Thank you, everyone, for the tweets. Jack as well.
You guys are my
Appreciate that.
favorites.
You guys are awesome.
Okay, I have the recipe.
Yes.
I love this recipe. It does require like a blender or a food processor, so that's the easiest way to go about it. I don't know how you would do it without it. So if that's a hold up, it's whatever. But anywho, it's very
Jack,
very
you fucking credit me with that shit. Even though that was totally fucking random of me screwing up my voice.
Right. This recipe the salsas are pretty easy to do. It really does come down to like ingredients. But what you're gonna want is 2 14-ounce cans of diced tomatoes. You're gonna want a very small can, the tiny ones, of green chilies. About a quarter of a small sweet onion. You're gonna want the juice of 1 lime, which is very important because I love a lot of lime juice in my salsas. I think it's a great flavor. I like that citrusy flavor. 2 tomatoey gets a little, it's boring. I used a fresh jalapeno. You could use a serrano. You could use habaneros. Your call. Depends on how spicy you like your salsas. 1 fresh jalapeno is perfect for me. 3 cloves of garlic. And remember, cloves, not bulbs. And as we were speaking of earlier, a handful of cilantro. You want a fist of cilantro.
You want cilantro in that shit.
You want cilantro in that shit. 2 teaspoons of kosher salt. I always cook with kosher because you don't need as much. And it'll last longer and it's more flavorful. I don't like table salt because it's got chemicals and extra shit in it. Table's fine. There's nothing wrong with table. I just prefer kosher. A teaspoon of sugar to balance out the acidity of the tomatoes. A teaspoon of pepper. A teaspoon of cayenne. And then a teaspoon of cumin. I like to have a little cumin in mine. So basically, what you're going to do is just literally throw everything of that recipe into the blender besides the tomatoes and just dice it on up in there. One of my notes is I suggest dicing the onions a bit and giving it a rough chop to the jalapeno so they blend easier. Also, whenever you blend a onion that's like whole, it'll kind of release this bitter juice. Like it's got like a really gross sulfuric juice. So I don't like that. Dicing it up will kind of release some of the juices on the cutting board, and that kind of gets rid of that. You won't have any bitter twinge to it. Yeah, but basically you're just throwing everything but those diced tomatoes just right in there. Just blend it on up there. Use a fresh lime. I wouldn't recommend using a lime juice. Use a fresh lime. One of the techniques we use is we cut it in half. You just hold your hand over. Make sure your hands are clean, by the way. You should always have clean hands when you're cooking. And just squeeze it on over there so you catch all the seeds and everything. So 1 whole lime and maybe 2 if you like a lot of lime juice. I do. And then basically after that, when it's all nice and blended together, you're going to want to put in your, what I like to do is I'll put 1 can of the diced tomatoes in and blend it up to where it's nice and good, blended. And then I'll throw the other one there and that'll just give it a quick pulse or 2 because that gives it texture. If you like a thicker tomato-y kind of salsa, then you don't need to blend that second one. If you like a real watery salsa, a real thin salsa, then throw both the cans in there and just blend it to your heart's desire. If you like extra thick, then just throw both of them in there and just give them a couple quick pulses. That's all you gotta do, just to mix it. But I love this salsa. It's so good.
Salsa, in my opinion, because I have to be careful about it, but salsa is best when it's chunky.
Yeah,
I want that nice thickness to it.
Absolutely. When it's watery, it's harder to keep on the chip. I like a chunky salsa, and this is I love this recipe. It's so good. It's very fresh, very it's a little bit sweet, and very savory. It's got great flavor balance. The lime juice does so much for it. I love a real lime juicy
Oh
kind
yeah.
of salsa. But yeah,
Lime juice and cilantro especially, don't be afraid of it, folks. Lime juice and cilantro, such good flavors.
Absolutely.
Oh my goodness! All right, so we did have a question in chat. I think I don't mind taking time for this for questions. Do you?
Not at all. Not
Oh
at
yeah.
all.
Alrighty. Imagine asks, do you think seafood chili can work either with fish or with something like shrimp and scallops? Usually I make chili with bison and sausage, but I want to try making it completely different. Here's the direction I'm thinking with this.
All right.
A gumbo exists. Gumbo exists, so I think a seafood chili could work. Go with shrimp, though. Shrimp is your best option.
Yeah.
Don't try to do a fish.
Shrimp, shellfish in general. Scallop would also be fine.
Scallop, definitely.
Those are expensive though, so.
They are, and don't try to do like a cod or a salmon.
Oh no! Do not put salmon in that.
No.
Do not. Oh God! Please don't do that. Ugh.
Just-
And I love salmon. I'm not saying that because I don't like salmon. I'm saying that because that would be terrible.
It will not work.
It
just won't.
Flaky, shreddy, pink fish, and it's not gonna.
The fish will dissolve with all those heavy liquids and sauces and seasonings.
Yeah, you're gonna have a gross looking thing there, not a tasty dish.
And I assume since he is doing a chili, there's gonna be a lot of fiber in it. There's gonna be a lot of beans in it, that kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, the only issue you would run across of making a traditional chili recipe, but the protein being shellfish, was that you really wouldn't taste the shellfish. Like, the shrimp is a subtle flavor. It's not powerful generally, so you're not gonna really taste that. I mean, honestly, like I would opt towards like a thinner, more gumbo-like chili.
Yep.
You're gonna do it. I would say even like a really thick, maybe like more like a stew almost. A thick. Because, I mean, I could be thinking a different kind of chili than you. I just naturally go to the Texas-style chili that's real thick and real spicy and, real hearty. And when you look at dishes like that, like I immediately conjure up a paella,
Yeah.
That's what I think of whenever you think of like a stew or a chili-like dish that primarily includes seafood. Maybe look up a paella. I don't know. I mean, those are good. So
they are. No, paella is amazing.
Make, but they're not it's not an easy dish.
Yeah.
Especially trying to acquire the saffron.
Now I'm thinking a different direction now though. Like originally I said gumbo you may want to take in like a gumbo direction, but what about a jambalaya? I mean that it has rice with it. That has a very certain thickness to it. Maybe you want to take it in that direction where it is this kind of soupiness, and you're combining it with, instead of a rice, a protein with a bean over the top of it.
Yeah. What would be really good besides rice would be like lentils.
Ooh.
That'd be cool.
Ooh.
I love me some lentils, man. They're healthy. They're like
seafood
superfood, so they've got a lot of protein in them.
Yeah.
Or maybe like a quinoa. Even
I don't think that'd hold up too well, would it?
You don't think so? It depends on how you cook it. If you cook it a little, not necessarily al dente, but not like thorough, so it's like rice texture, it might hold up. But the lentils would be better.
Yeah, the lentils a really good idea there. That's like a seafood jambalaya with lentils.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah. Are we gonna have to craft another recipe for next time?
I think that might be next week. Oh my god.
Yeah, seafood jambalaya with lentils, baby. We gonna do that.
I'm having an emotional moment. Okay, I need to breathe.
Goose fraba.
All right. Okay, we want to move on to our main topic. There's a main course for the night. We're getting right to it here.
We had so much fun with the others.
I know. It's just things seem to drag on a little bit when we just get talking. It gets a little crazy.
We love the sound of our own voice.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So, one thing we want to talk about tonight is kitchen etiquette and/or how to not lose a hand while working on a kitchen.
And Dan is going to take the lead on this one because this man has some stories.
Okay.
He knows. I can interject with my server side, but I know
Well,
what you
it's
want.
important. That's actually important because a lot
It is.
of what goes on is things you can't do as front of house,
True, very true.
unless you're on certain terms with the kitchen staff.
Which very few servers have a mindset to do that kind of thing. And
It's tough.
sad.
Yeah.
But, it is what it is.
And I think a lot of that has to do with a lot of people that get into being a server or front of house don't really do this as a career. They do it as I'm going somewhere for a few hours to try and get some money and not give a fuck.
Right.
Which I get that. You're trying to get through college or whatever.
a
That's
lot of
the
jobs in
situation.
general.
Okay, Rob is going to report next Friday on stuffed burgers. We've given him some ideas.
Oh, Rob, yes, please do.
I am intrigued.
Please do. Let me know.
If you guys, by the way, if you use any of the ideas we've been presenting on our episodes of On the Line, tell us about them. I want to hear about them.
Tell us about them, and then let us also go ahead and have a disclaimer that we are not responsible for any of this. So that's all you. We're absolving ourselves of responsibility. Warning: your experience may vary.
Based on skill. By the way, what was the difficulty on your recipe?
Oh, that actually has a difficulty. He has it provided on the thing itself. It was. Let's see. The difficulty was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 notches, 14. I don't understand. It's probably like a 2.5.
I give it a 2 out of 5.
Yeah, it's not
Sure.
hard. The hardest thing about it would be rolling the burrito, I think.
Yeah, and that is actually difficult. I prefer tacos. I know how to taco roll really well.
And then double-decker tacos will blow your mind. Try it. As a matter of fact, if you do want to do the double-decker tacos, get some black beans, too. Throw some black beans in there.
I don't like beans.
I don't care. I'm not talking to you.
Go fuck yourself,
Everybody
Dan.
else will do the black beans because they have good taste.
There you go. There you go. Alrighty. Kitchen etiquette. Okay. There are some things you cannot do in a kitchen. There are some sacred laws you, under no circumstances, under pain of losing a body part to a sharp knife, should never break. 1. If you're not a cook, don't step on the line.
Ever.
Don't do it. You, especially on a really busy night where there are cooks packed in shoulder to shoulder at their stations. It's dangerous. It's incredibly dangerous.
That's why. It's dangerous. It's not because they don't want you. They don't want to be hanging out and buddy. It's because you might get hurt.
Yeah, we love talking. We love talking to each other while we're working, but it gets so busy and so hectic. And, we're working with knives. We're working with
Fire.
We're working with boiling oil.
Heat
Someone
and
might
heat.
get hurt.
You gonna get hurt. The might is probably not very might is not a thing if it's busy. You're gonna get hurt if you screw up.
We get hurt.
But for the most part, a good kitchen won't let you in there anyway. I mean, managers are gonna tell you not to do it, and the kitchen is gonna stop you before you get a chance.
Yes.
If you're dumb enough to try it, they're gonna call down the thunder on your ass.
Yeah.
I know. I've had it happen to me once, and I didn't do it again.
Yeah. Well, on the rare occasion, a front of house will learn enough about the kitchen where we're fine with them coming back and grabbing something or doing their own thing. Like,
Right.
let's say they're hanging on a ticket for just a dessert or a salad, and they know exactly how to make where everything is. I'm okay with that personally. Some restaurants aren't.
Right.
I'll say that right now. Some restaurants aren't. The restaurants I've worked at are not high scale enough where you have that permanent barrier.
Right.
So there's
Or
that.
corporate enough, not even necessarily high scale, like corporate places want everybody in their place.
Here's the thing. The few corporate restaurants I've worked at, the rules about not having front of house go to the back of house are very flimsy. Like,
Okay.
it's been, the front of house they do everything and know everything supposedly, so they get to go wherever they want.
Right.
And they're actually fucking morons.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. It's me being cynical.
I'm
sorry.
realistic though. There's a story behind it, I'm sure.
There is. Anywho, another thing you probably shouldn't do is touch another person's utensils. Now, that isn't just the person's knives. That could be Nosh's example, he has a set of spoons that he keeps with him. Silver
nice ones.
spoons that are his. No one else can use them. If you ask, he might let you, but overall, don't touch. And that's with anything else. I've seen some cooks bring their own pans, their own steels.
Really?
Yeah.
Steel,
And-
maybe I could see that, but pans are interesting.
The other saute cook I worked with down in Iowa City, at the
Yeah.
last job before I left that town, he brought some of his own pans to work saute. And
Yeah,
they
I
were
mean,
for
those things wear out too. I
They
wouldn't want to do. I'd
do.
be like, nah, screw that. Let me wear down the restaurant pans. These are my shit.
it was for a specific meal though that he put
Oh,
on the
okay.
menu himself.
Gotcha.
A specific steak. It was a baked New York strip.
Ooh,
He did. And he easily cooked them the best
nice.
out of anyone. And part is because he had those really nice stainless steel pans he brought.
Oh yeah. Oof.
Yeah.
I have a couple of stainless steel like copper bottom pans.
You take care of those.
Oh man, I've had them for years too. They're
Yeah.
so good.
The only thing more fun than stainless steel can be cast iron.
Mm.
I don't like cast iron
I
myself.
love cast iron. I use my cast iron pan all the time.
It's just it's the perfect conductor. It absolutely is. It can get way too chaotic for me though.
I could see. I mean, yeah. I guess it just depends on how complicated you are with what you're making in it. I make
Exactly.
real simple stuff, so I don't need anything too crazy.
I'm
Like
used to
cornbread, or I'm like I fry things in it a lot.
for frying it's perfect. For
Yeah.
frying you use cast iron.
Oh, yeah.
People, please. It's so important. And
Yeah.
yeah, Kino, I know how to make that baked New York strip too. It's magical. It's magical. It takes a while for the oven to get that hot here at home.
Yeah, you're looking like a 500-degree oven or some shit. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
it's a blast furnace to make that, but it's
Yeah.
fast and it's delicious.
pizza oven is what you need. One of those Italian pizza ovens.
Yeah, well, that's what we had actually
Oh, yeah. Those
at
are
the place.
amazing.
Anywho, you don't touch another person's utensils. Another cook, they will kill you.
Yeah.
The knives that we cooks keep with us as we go through our careers is that they're meant to last a long time. And if someone grabs one and uses one and chips it, that's years taken off that knife.
Yeah. Yes, it is.
And that breaks our hearts.
Yeah, I mean, unless you have one of those like really, really expensive knives that come with like lifetime guarantees of like sharpening.
Yeah.
You're gonna pay out the ass to get that fixed.
And we don't want to.
No, because
No.
chefs are not multimillionaires unless they work at like Chez, whatever the fuck, Michelin 3-star kind of places. They're just like everybody else. We're all fucking blue collar. It's just a different kind.
Yeah. Yeah. You do not, under any circumstances, and this is a big one because this has happened to me. Lucas, it needs to happen.
I'm live cook off at PAX Prime.
Let's do
I would
that.
love to.
Oh my God.
PAX Prime. There's no way.
Yeah. I love you, Bahamut.
I know. I mean, you guys want to throw down some ducats and send my ass to PAX Prime by all means, but otherwise, that ain't gonna happen.
Everyone donate to Bahamut right now. Let's get into PAX Prime.
You donate anything to me right now, you know exactly what it's gonna go to.
Oh, yeah. Shit.
Shit, indeed.
Well, maybe at PAX South next year.
Maybe at PAX South next year.
Because you'll be
Or
there.
PAX East next year. I might honestly. We were thinking about going to PAX East next year.
Instead of PAX South or along with PAX South?
We said instead, but I don't think we can resist. I really don't, because we only saved up a ton of money to go to restaurants and stuff. We don't need to do that again, so we're fine. Hell, if we wanted to, we could drive there. We wouldn't even have to stay in a hotel.
Yeah.
It's like an hour and 20 minutes away. It's nothing.
Well,
So-
there you go.
We can make it happen if we want.
Maybe a PAX South cook-off should happen. There we go.
I'm just saying. You can
People
come
got
down to my
houses down
turf.
there. We can do
You
that.
come down to my house, learn how to cook my food. See how you do in the South.
I wouldn't do that good in the South.
Nah, you do fine. You do fine.
Anywho, you do not, under any circumstances, touch another cook's tickets.
Ooh.
Ever.
Yeah.
Ever. Each cook has their own printer they have to read from and get orders from. if you pull a ticket, you are ruining the order in which the tickets have come in, thus confusing the cook. And if he's 7, 8 tickets deep, and you're suddenly confusing him or her, murder will happen.
Yeah, and not just from the cook, but the managers will get after your ass for having
Oh,
your
man.
5-minute wait on their food.
Yep.
Why the hell their salads took 30 minutes to come out?
Why their salads came out a half hour before the actual meal itself all of a sudden.
Or 5 minutes before.
Oh,
Even worse. Don't you love those where like they're halfway through and this like the server comes out with the food and they're just like taking their third bite and they're just kind of like staring at you?
yeah.
Like, why the fuck do you have our steaks right now? I don't understand. We just got our food.
Yeah.
That's so embarrassing and awkward.
Where what's really bad is when the food is already sitting in the window and the salads just come out.
Oh, God.
And you
And
know
it's just sitting there, just under that
It's
heat
just
lamp,
sitting
getting
there.
cold. Heat lamps don't do shit.
or
They don't.
one problem we had was like this small part of one of our heat lamps put out way too much heat.
Oh,
So if it was if a plate was sitting in that spot, you know the food was still cooking.
yeah. Yeah, right.
You knew it.
That medium rare steak just got mid well.
It's bad. So you do not, especially if you're front of house and you come back and pull another cook's ticket, which has happened to me before. You will die. Yes.
Okay, if you're a server, if you're front of house, don't fucking touch the tickets ever. Unless you're expo, you have your own tickets in that situation. Don't touch
Yep.
tickets.
Oh,
It's
so-
not even worth your time.
So a month or so ago, I was on grill. I was making burgers. Everything was going splendiferous. I had plenty of orders that day. It was a nice busy day.
Finch.
A server walks back to my station while I was not there, while I was in the walk-in getting lettuce. She pulls a ticket, writes on it, carries it away with her to quote-unquote find me.
What?
What
was the thought process in that?
I don't know.
Hey, I'm gonna grab a ticket and I go find Dad because he know how to cook food. I go find him. He tell me things.
So, needless to say, she just needed to write that instead of medium, it was medium well.
Oh, for
On
fuck's
it.
sake! Really?
That was it.
An upcook?
That was it. That was it.
Not even like a lesser temperature. If it was like mid rare to rare, but
Nope.
no, it's just something. Hey, leave that steak on a slightly longer.
Oh, it wasn't
amount
even
of
a steak. It
time.
was a burger.
It was a burger, so it doesn't
Yes.
matter anyway.
Yeah. We.
Okay, it kind of matters, but it kind of doesn't really matter.
It doesn't. No. But the
Fuck.
fact that she walked away from my station with the ticket still in her hand. And she walks after I come back to the station and I go on my merry way, not realizing there was an order in. And she walks back to the station and says, "Oh, hey, this order came in, but I had to change it. Here it is." This is 5 minutes after the order came in, and it's now a Midwell burger that is
Never
5 minutes late.
They never found her body. What part of
made-
the institute is she in?
I don't know if I made her cry or not, but I certainly
man.
yelled at her.
Oh, the crying stories are always good.
I don't know. I don't know if she did.
Mm. Should have.
Oh my
People
god.
deserve a good cry, but they don't get it.
After that, I'm like, I don't care about your emotional stability anymore.
I've seen cooks make like strong ass dudes cry, man. Sometimes they
Yeah.
just get real.
Yeah.
Like no
But
fucks are given.
we're not emotionally stable individuals.
Mm-mm.
We're not.
I made a bunch of children cry once. I made a bunch of babies cry. It was good.
What?
I felt good about myself afterwards.
Oh my god.
There's no Easter bunny. Spoiler alert.
It's a pretty big spoiler.
Oh my god! What have I done?
So what? Yeah, you've had a couple stories. I'm sure you had a story or two where you've done something you absolutely should not have, or you've seen someone do something that almost got them killed.
Are you kidding me? I see stuff like I saw stuff like that all the time. And the funny thing is, like, my girlfriend still works in a very busy restaurant style place, and she sees, her well more than her fair share of bullshit. But yeah, I mean, timing. You see a lot of people who just do not understand the concept of timing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, hey, so I rang in the salad and the steak and the dessert all at the same time. Can you just like pace that out? I know there's like a 45 to an hour wait, and you have like 25 to 30 tickets on the line, but can you just go ahead and pay attention to my ticket instead of everyone else's? Okay, thanks, bye. Just people being so stupid. People who don't pay attention to their guests, specific commands about things, or people who want, like, because right now gluten free is just the biggest goddamn thing in the world, and it's like you do not have celiac disease. I'm sorry, you are not allergic to gluten. But anyway, that's another story.
A lot of people think they're celiacs, and they're not.
No, they're not.
They're not.
Just get a slight tummy ache because you cram 14 pounds of bread in your fat fucking face every day. Don't give me that bullshit. I know how you work. I do it too. That's exactly what I do. I just fist bread into my face at all fucking times.
I feel like an asshole for laughing at that, but it's true.
It's true. I can say it because it works for me. It's how I do things. It's how I operate. But I mean, yeah, like you'll have somebody who, especially if they do have a legitimate gluten allergy, they can't be around like bread stuff, and it's a restaurant, so bread stuff's everywhere. Gluten is everywhere.
Yeah.
So if they don't mention that, and you're like halfway into cooking the dish, and suddenly, oh yeah, that needs to be gluten free. By the way, there's an allergy, and you're like,
that needs to be known right away.
Now I have to throw all of this shit out, and there's product wasted, because that's another thing. You don't waste product.
Yeah.
You got shit that you scrape the damn, pan, and you scrape the Cambro because you want to get every last bit, because that costs money.
Oh yeah.
And ultimately, it is a business. So
and then when you thank you, freshman.
Yeah, freshman on point. I like it.
He's doing good tonight.
He is. He's killing it.
When you have to cook something gluten-free, it's not just a matter of, okay, well, I need to make sure I put it on the right bun. That's not just it.
Right.
Gluten really is everywhere. So you need to scrub your prep surfaces.
Yeah.
Scrub them. You need to scrape down the flat top area that you're going to cook on. You need to make sure every ounce, every speck of gluten is gone. So
that goes for anything that people have an allergy for. Really.
Yep.
Because I've literally had customers sit down that have business cards printed with, hi, my name is this. I am allergic to this. Of course, you get that, and you'll see, like, I swear to God, I showed that to some cooks on the line one day, and their eyes rolled so hard you could see them through the back of their skull.
Yeah.
Like, it is really frustrating, especially if you are busy. But I mean, it's a lawsuit waiting to happen, and you could fucking hurt somebody. So you want
it is. It really is. I've gotten used to that because I have a food intolerance to capsaicin.
Oh yeah.
So I have to be pretty careful.
Jalapenos.
Yeah. So the only time I don't have to be careful about that is in queso.
Really?
Yeah.
Like maybe neutralizes it or something.
I think the amount of
dairy does that.
Yeah. What's that chemical in dairy? Lactate.
Yeah.
I think the lactate neutralizes it to a certain extent, but like when I eat something spicy and then drink milk, it doesn't do it. So It's like, what the hell? I do not, doesn't, anywho. I've learned that there are different and massive levels of intolerances and allergies, and you have to be careful about every single one of them. Because if I even get a little bit of black pepper straight out from something, I mean, my system's not going to be happy about that.
Right. Well, I mean, there's things where if you get too close to a certain kind of, thing, you'll get like hives, And then there's people who, if they come anywhere like within 2 feet of a peanut, their throat will close shut and they'll
Yeah.
fucking suffocate. They have to go to the hospital. So it is true. I mean, there are varying, degrees of severity when it comes to allergies. And anyone who has the slightest hint of intelligence goes to a restaurant will be prepared to tell you, like, hey, and as a matter of fact, if you have an allergy and you're going to go to a restaurant, please be proactive instead of reactive. Look at the menu. It's 2015. Every restaurant has a menu online. Everyone is very clear about like what ingredients are in what. If you're allergic to a certain kind of product that would be in oil, like peanut oil, ask. I mean,
Yes.
even if it's something that's literally life and death for you, it's worth taking a couple of minutes out of your day to like email the place or call them. If you really
see
wanna
if they
enjoy your time.
can do it.
Yeah, don't sit there and be like, oh, hey, I know we just got here, but I'm allergic to 45 different things that everything on your menu includes. So I'm going to need you to restructure your entire kitchen towards me for that, for that $40 I'm going to pay to the restaurant and the $3 I'm going to give to the, server because I'm an asshole.
Yeah. And the thing about it is a lot of people say, well, the restaurant can always just say, no, we can't do that. You are not going to find a restaurant that's going to say, no, we can't do that.
It's not in the vocabulary for any restaurant nowadays,
Nope.
not with the invention of online reviews like Yelp.
Yeah.
The second somebody says no to someone, they're already on their damn phones going, well, this motherfucker right here just said no, and I'm Berber, so they should have said yes, and 1 star out of 1,000, whatever, fuck you. Yeah, that's how
Yeah.
things work. It's a true story, and that's why I don't work in that industry anymore.
Well, speaking of the industry and still working in it, God, I forgot where I was going with this. Other things you should and should not do. One thing you should do in a kitchen that's not only creates a safe work environment but is polite, is considered good manners, is when you're going to move through the kitchen. Let's say I need to go across the back line to get to the walk-in. Say I'm coming down the line, or I'm coming down the back line, or I'm coming this direction with this. Let's say you have a speed rack with you, which is one of those tall racks with wheels on it. Just say down the rack with a speed, or down the line with a speed rack. It's considered polite just to let everyone know you have something or you're trying to move in a certain direction.
Just yell something that indicates what you're doing when it comes down to it, because not everybody's so specific. For servers, there's 2 words you want to learn every single time at every restaurant because they always apply are behind and corner.
Yes.
That's all you need to know. You're not going to be dealing with hot shit. Of course, if you do, you're going to want to you're going to want to combine that word. Like if you're, I don't know, whatever. If for some strange reason a server has a really hot dish, kitchens don't normally trust servers with hot things because it's bad. But should that happen, you're gonna, you're coming around a corner. It's corner hot. If you come behind somebody, behind you hot.
Yep.
You want to say you have seconds to tell somebody that you are in their immediate vicinity and with something that could, cause skin grafts to be necessary.
9 out of 10 times 2, a cook will just stop moving or lean in the opposite direction too.
Oh yeah, and
Which
people will fuck with you with that too. It's hilarious. I don't know how many times I've had homeboy coming behind you with he's holding a dish of cilantro and be like, hot, and you stop moving. And then he just sitting there staring at you with a smile. You're like, God damn it. Got me again, you bastard. It's actually hilarious when you see that.
It is.
Sharp.
It is.
Sharp is another one. Sharp is a good one.
Sharp.
Corner sharp.
Or when you get the classic sharp behind.
Sharp behind. I'm telling
You hear
man.
that shout through the kitchen, all of a sudden everyone looks at you.
Oh yeah. They tense up and then they stare at you because you're weird. But yeah, that is very important because people who don't say behind or corner, they get fucking knocked over all the time.
Yep. And you don't want to be moving around a kitchen with something hot or something sharp and not let people know, because a lot of kitchens don't have a lot of space to move. And it sucks sometimes.
It does. One of the techniques I always saw that some people knew and some people didn't. I think there's like other schools of thought with it. But when you're carrying a knife, you want to obviously hold it by the plastic handle or the wooden handle, whatever. You want to press it up against the side of your leg, blade down, so that way there's really very little chance of accident. Because if you're just walking around with a goddamn knife sticking out in front of you, which BT Dubs seen it happen.
Yeah,
I have literally seen somebody do that. Just hold the knife, just walking around. Hey, I got a knife sharp. Yeah, knife sharp. What happens if you fucking trip? One of two things is going to happen. You're going to accidentally curve it in a way to stab yourself and do the world a favor, or you're going to accidentally run into someone and hurt someone else, which is bad.
That's horrible because you're the asshole then.
Exactly, and you're not dead for it. So you're going to want to hold the knife. When you hold the knife against the side of your leg, you're not going to stab yourself really unless you just fall that particular direction. The blade's pointing down, so it's not towards anything. It's not, blade out, so no one's going to bump up against you and cut themselves. That's just how I saw to do it. That's how I was taught. So.
Yep, just keep it pointed straight down. That's the really important part.
It's like a gun. You don't fucking point guns at people. Don't point knives at people either.
Both can kill.
Both can and have
Both can
killed
kill.
Before. They were designed that way, some would say.
That's an important point, though. And I do want to get to good, safe knife techniques. It's an important thing for us to talk about. It absolutely is.
I don't have very good knife skills.
Really?
But it's just because I wasn't taught. Everything I know about cooking, I was either taught by osmosis, just by watching, or just like my grandma. She's not a chef. She's been cooking for 60 years, but she's not a chef. So there's no formal training there. So yeah, I don't have a lot of knowledge in it. My knife skills are not good. I know things, like I know cat's paw, and I know you don't move the knife, you move the food, but that's pretty much the limit.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
There
you go. That was knife safety 101 right there. Those are the only two things you need to know.
We'll spend a day on knife handling.
Cat's paw.
We'll spend a day on that. Anywho.
Yeah, love it. No, I'm not doing it again. You might accidentally stab yourself and do the world a favor. I'm on a roll tonight. We are all on a roll tonight.
You've got it tonight.
I'm telling you, man. It's the vodka. It's got to be the vodka.
Needless to say, this is my opinion. A lot of cooks would actually disagree with me on this,
really?
Which may make me in the minority. One thing you don't do when you work in a kitchen: do not, under any circumstances, come to work drunk or stoned. Do not.
Yeah. Don't do that, but everyone fucking does that. It's not, if they disagree with you on this, Dan, they're wrong, because it's bad to do that, but it's gonna happen.
That's true. Every cook is going to have that one day where it's like you just come to work totally wasted. I have not had my day yet.
Well, you know what, though? What I've found is that the cooks who do that do it habitually, and the ones who haven't don't ever do it. There's really no middle ground. There's like, yeah, one day I came in drunk. It's like 90% of the time, if you don't do it, you're not ever going to do it. But I mean, I've worked with honestly, one of the best brunch grill chefs I've ever done. The guy who was in charge of making soft-boiled poached eggs that are hard to do. Very timing oriented. That dude was drunk 24/7. He had a Gatorade bottle of vodka.
Oh my God.
Times. We caught this dude hiding beers in the inside of a toilet in the men's bathroom. Like, he was a raging alcoholic. But goddamn, he was the best brunch cook we had. Like, that guy was on point. And it's kind of like, what was it? There's a really famous jazz musician. I don't think it's Louis Armstrong. Some really famous jazz musician was like pretty much known for being great when he was on heroin and terrible when he wasn't. So, I don't know. It's just one of those things. It's bad. Don't do it. It's terrible. But, some guys, that's just how they function. It's
the best sauté cook I ever knew, who I still look up to this day, came to work totally stoned off his ass every single day because it's the only way he could focus.
Right. I think they're in different leagues here. That's another conversation we can get into with the difference between alcohol and marijuana.
Yeah.
I know a lot of servers who made really, really good money because they were always calm and they were always able to interact with the customers in such a way that they didn't seem too formal, and that was because they had smoked like a bowl right before they came to work. So it's another one of those things. Some people just function better, and it comes down to body chemistry, what you're used to doing. But still, it's not good. That's a very rare case. You're not going to be as good as you can be if you're.
And my issue with it, especially in a kitchen, is that you are working with implements and devices that can kill someone. You need your faculties.
All of your cognitive faculties.
I know a lot of people that would disagree with me on that, and I'd be happy to have the conversation.
Yeah.
But I don't feel comfortable with the other side of the coin.
It makes sense. I could totally see that. There's a definite logic behind it. I really do think it just comes down to the person.
Yeah, that makes the most sense to me.
Very high functioning, alcoholics or stoners or what have you. It's a common fact about a lot of things like that. I don't know how many managers I've worked with that are just all about some cocaine. I'm telling you, man, and a lot of them don't function well without it. They're just sluggish, but then man, they blow a couple rails, bam, they're good to go. And it's terrible. It's bad. It's illegal. Don't do that. That's fucking stupid. Don't do fucking cocaine. As a matter of fact, my one and only restaurant management job I got because a guy got fired for doing blow. So kudos to that guy. Well done. But yeah, I mean, it really does come down to body chemistry. Some people, they can sit there and fucking just pound drinks, and you almost can't tell.
Yeah,
because they're doing their shit just right. It's so funny too because that cook I was telling you about, one of my friends who worked there, he he always had a very clear indication that this chef was working because on his way through the little back alley that we had to park in to get to the restaurant, in the mornings there would just be a massive puddle of puke somewhere near the thing. He's like, "Oh well, Kevin's working today." Yep.
I hope that's not his real name.
It's no, but still.
Okay, that's good. I feel we've said too much.
Anyway, so.
Oh my god. Then the other side of the coin is, at the end of the day, once all the cleanup is done, usually all those cooks are at the bar in the front of house having a beer. That's just
those beers are awesome.
Yeah.
We do that all in front of house. We would do that all the time. If we had a really hard shift, usually like the manager would be like, "Yeah, man, let's do it." So we would just load up you weren't getting the primo beer, but no. Everyone in the cook, we'd line up those beers, and everybody would have a post-shift beer, and it was good. It was like a bonding thing. It's kind of like an experience.
Yeah, I told you about the Jesus and the 12 Apostles, right?
I don't think you did. That sounds like something I would remember.
Shit. Okay. So,
oh God, what are we about to get into?
Jesus shots and the 12 Apostles.
Okay.
So the Jesus shot.
You had my curiosity. Now you have my attention.
The Jesus shot is a really big glass of wine at the middle of a serving tray. So it's like a rocks glass full of wine.
All right.
You're required to take it as a shot when you take it. It's
fuck me, dude.
So at one of the restaurants I worked at, you had 12 different pulls for beer. 12 different pulls. So the manager working the bar would fill 11 shot glasses with different beers.
Which is not bad. A shot glass of beer is not, in and of itself, a lot of alcohol.
No, it's very easy to do. And you'd have different flavors of beer and whatnot. Some of them be good, some of them be bad. Whatever. One shot, though, was the Judas shot.
Oh.
Before you put the beer in, and it was usually a darker beer.
You had to eat 12 pieces of silver.
No, that'd be interesting, but no.
You died.
He put a few large dollops of the hottest hot sauce you could possibly find in the restaurant.
Yeah, I know a couple drinks that have that as a recipe. I do. Prairie Fire is one of them.
And they'd be randomly organized on the tray. And about 3 of us would all take turns just going back and seeing who got the Judas shots.
Oh, God. Ugh.
Needless to say, after the first time I did that, I recused myself from it.
No
I
mas,
did
por
not get the
favor.
Judas shot, thankfully enough. After they explained it to me, I'm like, I can't play that game again.
It's kind of like Russian roulette.
Yeah, except I could have an allergic, not allergic, but a
Well, yeah, obviously in
very
your case,
not
that's
nice
quite
reaction.
literally like Russian roulette. It is a very dangerous thing for you to do to yourself.
Yeah.
There's actually it's a I don't know if it's actually Russian. It's a chocolate set. You can buy it in a lot of places. They're literally shaped like bullets, and there's 12 of them or 6 of them, something I forget. And one of them has a spicy chili in it.
Yeah.
So,
And the
yeah.
only caveat to Jesus shots and the 12 apostles is at any point in time, if you wanted to bunk out of it, you could do the Jesus shot. But you had to take it all at once.
I mean, that I don't know, man. That's a tough call. In your case, obviously the Jesus shot would be a little better. You wouldn't die or anything, but I mean, chugging a glass of wine is fucked. That's hardcore.
I
man.
had no problem with the glass of wine, actually. I can do it all in just one go. Easy. My liver, not so much. What the
No, yeah.
fuck is
We-
that?
If you're a chef, you have zero concern for your liver anyway,
That's true.
to be perfectly honest.
Is that like Cad's Roulette? Rob, what was Cad's Roulette beer? I don't remember this. There might be a reason I don't remember this.
Here. Yeah, maybe you just push this to the back of your mind so you'd never have to remember it.
Was it Jaeger? I thought it was hot sauce. It might have been Jaeger. No, it wasn't. Was it Jaeger?
Jaeger with lime juice? Ugh. God, no. Jaeger's bad anyway.
It might have been. Here's the problem. Every time that I saw someone doing these, I was also relatively intoxicated.
Fair enough.
It might have... Because I did... No, that's how I told the story to Kat the last time I remember telling it. I don't know. I don't remember. This is what happens when you work in a restaurant for a long time, or restaurants for a long time.
I know.
The brain starts to get a little screwy on you.
10 years, my friend. I understand all too well. I don't brain.
Yeah.
I has the dumb. It's a thing.
I'm trying to read what Smitty put in there.
What did Smitty put in there?
Had one called Bilgewater. That was the spillage from when they spill on the mat. It was a drink. The guys in the Navy at the work in the engine room that would do in a lost bed.
Yeah, that's a mat shot. Yeah, that's what you give your customers you hate. If there's a drunk motherfucker who's just been causing trouble and treating all the bartenders like shit, they'll be just like, just give me a shot. I don't care. Give me a fucking shot. Whatever. And you give them a fucking... You do one of two things. You give them a mat shot, which is awful, or you give them a cement mixer, which is way worse.
What's a cement mixer?
Oh my god, a cement mixer is it's a specific recipe, but for the most part it mixes a citrus juice with an alcohol that has dairy. So it curdles in your stomach.
Oh.
You can make a cement mixer to where it doesn't do that if you balance it properly, because I mean it's a real shot. Matter of fact, not too long ago, I think it was one of the casts where it was like a men's day with like Man versus Game, Ezekiel, and the Sour Kool-Aid guys.
Yeah,
they did those. That was like one of their dice roll things. So you can do it legitimately, but yeah, if you want to be an asshole to somebody, you can make them a cement mixer that will curdle in their stomach. Just know that they are going to puke everywhere. You are going to have to clean that up. So balance out what you think is worthy for, fucking this guy.
If he's one drink away from getting his ass kicked out.
Yeah, there you go. Let somebody who has to clean the parking lot. Let them deal with it.
All right, TechBag actually linked this in chat. Oh my god.
Yeah. Irish cream and lime juice, baby. Blech.
Oh, it's horrible.
See, you can do it. It's not gonna screw you over, but yeah, you don't do it right, man. So there you go. That last one. As when not prepared the right way, the curdling of the milk in the drink can cause an upset stomach, diarrhea, nausea, or vomiting.
Look what Rob just said.
I love cement mixers. Well, he knows how to take them, probably.
Oh,
I honestly think it's a disgusting flavor combination, so I would never have that as a drink. But God, I mean, everybody has their drink, so you know. Some people like Prairie Fires. That's tequila and hot sauce. You imagine?
what?
Oh yeah, baby. Some people love it too. Tequila and hot sauce. That's a Prairie Fire.
Oh,
My girlfriend has some fun stories about Prairie Fires. Woo, boy. It's not the moment you take them, it's 12 to 24 hours later that you will immediately regret that. You're just like,
I made a very bad life choice.
Mm-mm-mm. Yeah, you do not like that afterwards. But those are beverages.
All right, so speaking of Bailey's, I have a very specific recipe for White Russian.
Okay.
Have I shared this with you yet?
I guess not. I mean, I know what White Russians are, but if you do something different, I would like to know.
As people will know, I am a minister of the Church of the Latter-day Dude.
I figured as much.
The Big Lebowski is my religion.
Oh.
As such, White Russians are a thing. The best White Russian I have ever had that I made myself by hand, which you should always mix your own drinks. It's very important in my opinion.
Oh, of course.
First off, there isn't anything in it that isn't liquor, which is delightful. You start out, instead of cream or milk, with Bailey's.
Okay.
Bailey's nice solid base. We go with some vanilla flavored vodka. Not just regular vodka, but a nice sweet vanilla vodka. Oh, come on.
It's got nothing to do with the actual beverage itself. I have a very, very strong aversion to vodka because of a lot of really poor decisions I made in college.
Aha.
So that's why that is. I'm gonna make a face every time I see vanilla. But
Fair enough.
Continue with the delicious.
Fair enough. And then you finish it off, not just with regular Kahlua. You specifically need to get the cappuccino Kahlua.
Okay, yeah.
Because it's got this really richness to it.
I mean, throw coffee flavored, espresso flavored anything. I don't care what it is. I love it.
Have you tried Kahlua Special?
No, I have not.
It's magical.
I'm very, very. I won't say I'm against dairy in my alcoholic beverages. I just really don't prefer it. So
okay.
I tend to avoid like mudslides and things like that.
Yeah, I don't blame you on mudslides there. I'm not a huge fan myself.
Right.
But anywho, go a third on each of those in your White Russian, and it just balances out. But you have to take it slow.
White Russians are not pounding drinks anyways.
No.
You don't want to sit there and get a lot of dairy, shoved into your stomach at a rapid pace. That's not good for you regardless.
Okay, I shotgunned one of those once, like a full rocks glass of it.
Why?
Because I was about to walk home.
Oh, I gotta go home, bro.
Exactly. I hadn't exactly made the smartest choices that day, or that was a bad week for me. I know I made it home that night.
Yep, I know that.
It's one of those nights though where I'm not exactly sure how.
Yep.
I knew I started walking in the right direction.
It's one of those things where you're like, okay, I don't have a car, so decisions are about to get made. I'm not going to hurt anybody else in this instance, so we're about to see what happens. We're going to throw them dice. Yep.
You've heard of 3 sheets to the wind.
I'm telling you, man, I've done that a couple times. There's been a party or two where I've woken up in my bed with bruises on my face and kind of what the fuck happened.
There was one time.
Why am I yellow? Why am I only in my underwear and a red sweater? I don't understand. What the hell happened?
There was one time where I decided to go downtown with all of the cook friends and leave my car at work. We We crashed at one of the coworkers' houses that was quite literally on the opposite side of town of where I worked from.
Nice.
I'm talking like 5 miles.
Ooh.
So, morning comes, my alarm rings. Hey, you got to be at work in an hour. I'm blast of 2 people in the house.
Yeah.
I got to get walking.
Oh, goodness. Hungover, walking 5 miles. That's a great experience.
At least I didn't have to stay late that day. I got off, I went home, and I passed out.
I would imagine.
But my legs just about fell off after that.
Oh, man. I mean, I guess 5 miles initially, and then however long you had to walk to come back, to your
No,
car
luckily
or
my
whatever.
car was still at work, thankfully enough.
Then if you didn't have to walk all the way back, that would be one thing. But
No.
it's funny you say that. And the first place my mind goes to is Austin measurements. Which if someone is on the opposite side of town, that's like an hour and a half drive. You're like straight up like westward bound settler walking that motherfucker. It's like, all right, well, I'll see you guys on what time is it? Thursday. So that's the kind of like scale my mind goes to. I forget that other people live in towns that aren't stupid.
Our town was pretty stupid. Just not stupid big. Like
Austin's
stupid.
It's a lot of stupid.
It's a lot. You guys have successfully packed a lot of stupid in there.
Very, very condensed stupidity, just rampant.
You guys have worked your asses off to make sure stupid per capita is as high as possible.
As high as possible in so many ways. Specifically for people who drive.
Okay.
If you drive in Austin, you have to have like a negative 3,000 IQ. It's required. Except me, of course.
I was about to say, do you drive in Austin?
No, I do, but I am the exception.
So everyone else is a fucking moron.
Everyone else is a fucking moron at 7:30 in the morning, yes.
Okay, well, 7:30 in the morning, yeah. I can't even see at 7:30 in the morning.
I haven't had my coffee. People are not putting their blinkers on. They're merging onto shit, and they're flying off of shit, and they're pulling out in front of shit, and I'm just like, I hate you all! Urgh! Stop driving. Why do you have to go to work? You don't have bills to pay. You're not a real thing. There's no people besides me. What are you thinking?
I'm the only human being here. Come on. Jesus. All right.
Man.
We got way off topic there, but in a very fun way.
As we are wont to do.
As we usually do. Any closing thoughts on the subjects that we've talked about today, Bahamut?
No, I mean, I think we pretty much covered everything. Well, we didn't cover anywhere near everything, but we covered everything that would be relevant to this specific topic.
Yeah.
Just always, and when it comes down to is, it's hard to say use common sense because common sense is not common by any means.
Mm-hmm.
But think about be selfless.
That's a really good way to put it.
When you're in a place where dangerous things happen, potentially be selfless. Think about other people, and then think about yourself.
That works in a kitchen and in real life as well.
It does. Always consider the thoughts and positions of others.
There you go. Now, next week, do you have a topic you want to touch on next week? I have a recipe. I'm actually going to do a sandwich recipe for next week. Yeah,
Nice
it's really
very
simple.
tasty.
It's super easy, but it's fucking delicious.
Ooh, I'm excited. Yes.
Yeah. It's the
know.
really good, easy, simple recipes that taste the best sometimes.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I am a firm believer in like ease of access and flavor, and enjoyment.
Look at chat real quick. Look what Rob just said.
What is Rob saying? Just told Matt we need to do some mint mixers again. He said, just do a shot of cottage cheese. I would do a shot of cottage cheese. I'm a big fat fuck. I would do that.
Cottage cheese is delightful.
Shoot it back, baby. I got like 5 more years to live. I'm okay.
I can take a couple years off.
Yeah,
That's
fuck it.
okay.
Just fucking intravenous, baby. Shoot that shit right into my veins. As far as a topic of discussion is concerned, I might have to think about it. There's a lot of different things we could do. Actually, what would be a really fun topic for me is something I enjoy doing is alcohol and food pairings.
Ooh, so
Wine
like
and
different.
beer and potentially scotches and whiskeys and things like that. Liquors in general. I love pairing food with
Mhm.
alcohol because I love alcohol. So
And
yeah,
food.
I
And
love food and I love booze. I am literally drinking straight vodka right now. So,
And
yeah, no,
and-
I think
no. There's some important note. Please do not drink and drive. We've been
Please do.
joking tonight.
I don't have a
having
car
fun.
right now, so I can't fucking drive anywhere. My car is currently out of commission. I am without any sort of responsibility. I literally cannot drive if I wanted to. No, I have received training in wine and beer pairings. I've been a part of many dinners that involved very specific wines with very specific courses of meals that were not, I mean, I wouldn't necessarily say they're like ritzy ass fine dining because I'm from backwoods East Texas, you know. But yeah, I really do think that's a fascinating subject. Like this past weekend, we went to an absolutely fabulous restaurant called North by Northwest. It's so good. But we were like, I mean, we had a couple of drinks, and you know, there's a difference between pairing, I don't know. Some people don't even know that you do the reds with the red meat and the whites with the white meat. You know, it's very, very simple things that a lot of people don't understand. You know, I get a lot of questions from family members specifically. And like my mom will be like, oh, hey, so we're going to go have this. We're going to go have some pizza. What kind of wine do you think would go well with this? So I think that would be a lot of fun subjects to cover would be wine and beer pairings for food. That's
Oh,
what I wanna talk
absolutely.
about.
There you go. I don't know too much about that. The majority of my in-depth knowledge of that is Ron Swanson.
Which means red meat and whiskey. Basically.
Yes.
Pair
Really?
all red meats with all whiskeys.
Red meat, whiskey, and a really big cigar.
Oh my God! You want to talk about scotch and cigars? Woo! That's a whole other topic, buddy, and I will happily speak at length about scotch and cigars.
I've never smoked a cigar.
Oh my God! I've got two of them just sitting over here in my. I have a humidor.
Are you fucking kidding me?
No, hang on. Let me go get it. I will show you my
Oh
humidor.
my god. I can't I have to see this now. This is like watching a train wreck.
Yeah, man, my girlfriend bought me this for Christmas.
Oh, that's
not
really
long ago.
nice.
It is. It's really cool. It's a very nice like thing here, and you've got the little dealie that humidors the things, and I got a nice little cigar here. I'm about to do a little smoky smoke action on later, probably. I don't have many in it right now because I'm poor, but yeah, I love smoking things that aren't cigarettes. I've never had a cigarette in my life, not
Same.
once. Never
Same.
puffed on a cigarette. Never had one in my mouth. But I like pipes and I like cigars. I like tobacco products that aren't cigarettes. So, kind of a thing.
There we go. So next week, beer, wine, and liqueur, and how to pair it properly and tastefully with your food.
Indeed. And something fun for that would be like chat requests. Like if you guys have a dish that you really like and would be interested in knowing what kind of beverage would be paired well with that, throw it in chat. We'll take like chat requests and we'll let you know. You know, if you want to do a beer or if you want to do a wine or maybe even a liquor. Liquor doesn't really necessarily always pair well with food, but like beer and wine for sure. I will be happy to work with you on that. That would be great.
There we go. There we go. You realize you're gonna know a lot more about this than me, right?
Let's talk. Let's talk beforehand. You and I can.
Okay. All right. We have to do some conversationing beforehand then.
You know, I'm always available.
Okie dokie. With that being said, Bahamut, tell everyone about your fucking music.
No, I don't wanna.
Okay, fine. Bye. No one cares about you.
I make music sometimes. It's a thing. I'm working. Actually, you know what? I'm actually kind of excited. I'm working on this thing called Project Prominence with Jack LaFear. We're doing music for casters. So far I've done Joey Girl. I did a little song for her that was drum and bass that I think was pretty good. For Jack's cast, I did an 11-minute gothic house epic That was crazy, and I've never made an 11-minute song before. That's nuts. Right now, I'm working on Noosh Sploosh, which was named at PAX South during the Jackass podcast. She requested that be the name. It is 190 beats per minute of horrifyingly fast, sugary,
What?
saccharin DDR goodness. It's fast, and it's happy. It's positive, so...
You've
I'm having fun
also,
with that.
I don't know if this is on the album or not, but you've also made our theme.
I did.
And I'm playing it right now, and it's fucking magical. If people haven't heard it yet.
I had a lot of fun with that track, actually.
It's a great track, too. I'm playing it right now, folks. It's just called Robin Anthony. It doesn't have a name to it. Which it really doesn't.
Choke. Ah!
What?
That's the chat.
Well, I wasn't looking at chat. What's up?
Confirmed Bahamut did Joey Girl.
Well, that got creepy fast.
I do that sometimes.
Okie dokie. So, with Robin Dan theme taking us out for tonight, I want to thank one Mr. DJB.
You
For
are
kicking
most
it with
welcome.
us
Thank you
tonight.
for having me, sir.
We took almost an extra hour there.
Yeah, but we had so much fun.
We did. It's like we are professionals at shooting the shit.
Oh, you know it, and that's because we worked in restaurants.
Oh my god. It's one of the few things we do well.
It is. It is.
Why are people being rapid fired now? In chat, you just got fired.
Fuck that. Fine. I'll leave.
Well, we're both gonna leave.
I'm getting the fuck out of here. If you guys don't appreciate my, you don't appreciate me, I just go somewhere else. I don't care.
Alrighty, folks. A short timeout. A short break. Oh, there goes Bahama. He's gone. He gone. I can escape fast. I don't. No, we're not gonna do that right now because we need to move. Alrighty, folks. Don't go anywhere. We're right back here in just a few minutes with Mass Effect 3, night number 2 of our insanity difficulty playthrough, and the abuse that I've already had to experience with it. Last night, people were taking a shot for each death, and I think some people died.
I will happily die along with you.
Oh,
Let's
no,
die, everybody.
don't. I need you for next week.
Don't
Don't.
come back.
All right, fine. Enjoy. Have your fun. Have your fun. That has been On the Line episode number 3 for this Friday the 13th, 2015. And you watched it right here at twitch.tv/The Robin Den Show. Bye!